Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. My name is F. Dot, joined here by my co-caster Kret, and we've got the first game in the round of three for you: Rectangle Gaming versus one of our favorites in the scene, Snipe Gaming, with a new member. The Best is going to be playing in the middle lane, formerly of Team Dignitas, going to make his Snipe Gaming debut right here on the Battle for Olympus.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see what Best can bring to the table. Surely his strong communication skills. But Rectangle Gaming is going to be Dusty Rainbow, Recon, Tryhard, Diehard, Ban OP Gods, and Nintendo 64. They're actually a fairly strong amateur series team, and the kind of team that we expect to do well in the Challengers Cup. So I can't wait to see what they're going to bring to the table. Geb and Rekt banned away. Rekt is just something you have to take off the board when you're up against Weekend. Geb, very strong right now. Yanis will be taken away from Snipe, and we'll see what their second ban is going to be.
So much craziness in chat going over this recent roster change, and this is one of the bigger things that we've seen shake up the Smite scene as the Athena ban comes out and we move on to first pick, which is going to be that Mercury that we've seen be so strong. The Best, previously of Dignitas fame for about almost 2 years, Kret. Dignitas have just gone through some restructuring. They've gotten Gnaw in the middle lane and Dare to Care in the support role now. So the Best in Shadow Q without Holmes. Not sure if this will be the permanent resting place for the Best on Snipe Gaming, but this is the first time we've seen him without the Dignitas jersey on in a long time.
It's going to be exciting to see what happens, but I really like what Snipe did with their ban. Geb was taken away, they got Athena off the board. This means two things. First of all, no one gets an OP support. Second of all, we get to see two of the lower tier supports, which honestly is a more interesting matchup to me than watching Geb versus Athena. But Thor and Ra will be picked for Snipe Gaming. We have seen Thor support before, but I think it's sort of trademarked by Aurora and no one else is allowed to do it or it'll sue them. So it's probably going to be in the jungle for Weekend. Weekend isn't going to have Mercury's disposal. That said, he might be considering a nemesis and putting Thor in that support role if Rectangle Gaming, say, pick something Nemesis is good against, such as Zhonghui.
Right. You mentioned that Aurora is the one really known for his Thor and other like-minded aggressive supports as the Aphrodite and Agni get locked in for Rectangle Gaming. Well, Incontinentia is right behind him. We see a lot of Geb play and traditional supports coming out from Incon, but really the only person I would say allowed to play Chalk support is Incon because of how aggressive he can play. But that Bacchus pick is going to throw that out of the wind. We're going to see a Thor in the jungle, and Incon will be playing Bacchus in the support role.
So I kind of want to see a Zhonghui ban here. I mean, it would work decently on the Snipe lineup, but I just feel like if they... Actually, yeah, you know what? They don't need to ban Zhonghui, because if they let Zhonghui through, right, and then Rectangle bans Nemesis, Snipe then has the next pick, they take Zhonghui, there's no Nemesis on the other team, and you've got a God relatively uncountered. So it's going to be Ullr taken off the board, and Ullr is an ADC that's actually gotten a lot of strength recently. That said, this ban assumes that Mercury is going to be in the jungle. We'll see what happens relative to that, and once again, this tournament, and probably every game until we see Merc inevitably banned, either this week, next week, whenever. He's going to be ban-worthy soon. We have to ask the question, is that Mercury in the jungle, or is he in the ADC role?
Yes, thank you, Snoopy, for single-handedly bringing ambiguity to a character. Last second ban going to be Habois. The Best plays a very, very, very good Habois in that middle lane. One of the few that can actually pull off the delicate, fragile glass cannon at its core that is Habois. So they're going to ban him out of that, and Apollo's going to be locked in for Allied, definitely one of his better hunters, and Rectangle going to be thinking for a while over the last two picks.
It's going to be interesting to see what they like to go for. It will be a Ram hovered on, and so that does mean we're going to see the Mercury jungle tier, Sun Wukong. I think tier was just a misclick. Sun Wukong potentially in that support role. So Sun Wukong versus Bacchus. That's actually never a matchup that's been meta to my... I don't think. I think when Sun Wukong support sort of came into the mix, Bacchus wasn't much of a thing. But Scylla for the Best is going to be very good.
Scylla is another one of the bests. trademark characters, really plays it well. Approximately the same size out of game as well. But Sun Wukong and Bacchus, it's interesting, Kret. You're right. Their paths really didn't intersect ever during their respective metas, the Warrior and the old Guardian meta. That said,
Yeah.
they kind of function similarly. Warrior supports work out because they do a lot of damage and poke and essentially lower the kill threshold for the carry that they're in lane with. Well, Bacchus does the same thing. Instead of poke oriented, it's burst oriented. You're always at a lower kill threshold with that intoxicate. So they do the same role, just differently with different sides of magic and physical.
And that said, a big part about why you probably never saw this matchup was because before the nerf to Sun Wukong's Master's Will, when it was an interrupt, that ability was just like, throw this out at some point during the team fight and maybe it'll do something. And it was the perfect ability to interrupt Belch of the Gods. But now, to interrupt that Belch of the Gods, you have to use Back Off, Special Delivery, which you really don't want to use, or an Agni Stun, or an Aphrodite Kiss. So it's probably going to be Back Off, but does Aphrodite really want to be that close to Bacchus? I think Belch of the Gods is going to be a big... Oh, you could also use a form from Sun Wukong. But either way, Belch of the Gods could be really powerful in this game because everything that can interrupt it is something you don't want to use to interrupt an ability as... It doesn't do nothing, but it's not like there's better uses for your stuns. So you still have to interrupt it, but there's no good tool to interrupt it. It's a really difficult decision, honestly, when you're up against a Bacchus.
Yeah, that Belch of the Gods does do damage late game when he's smashed and can stun, but early game it really just doesn't pose much threat. We're going to see how this matchup works out along with all the rest of the matchups in just a couple of seconds. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more Smite action very soon. Welcome back, folks, to Rectangle Gaming versus Snipe Gaming right here on the Battle for Olympus, presented by SmiteCentral on twitch.tv/SmiteGame. My name's F. Joined here by Kret, and we're going to take a look as the first teams leave the bases. They've purchased their items. They're heading to their roles. Kret, tell us who's playing.
In the blue chunks, it's going to be Rectangle Gaming, Dusty Rainbow on your support, Sun Wukong, heading out to Ward, and here's a throwback. It's going to be that Death's Toll Warrior support. His Hunter will be Recon on Rom. In the middle lane, Tryhard Die Hard on Agni. In the jungle, Nintendo 64 on Mercury. And in the solo lane, Ban OP Gods on Aphrodite. Special note, Sprint 2 as a starting build, so immune to slows every 60 seconds. That could be a big deal in surviving the early game.
Would you like that choice? Kiki most likely not going to get that Divine Light just early in the game, especially after seeing the boots purchase. 5-man group up by Snipe. They're going the old denial strategy. They're looking for something. Tryhard, Die Hard, and Nintendo both spot it out and immediately walk away.
Yeah, so the reason Snipe was looking for that level 1 is because they're so good at the level 1 5v5 fight. They've got the hard initiate from Bacchus, the big damage from Thor with his passive with Berserker Barrage. You've got support from Scylla. She can help out a lot with the slow from her Crush is likely what they would do. And then Kiki or not with the sustain. That said, the ward on the red, and I like this. Rectangle is going to be like, alright, we'll just help clear the red. We know that you're going to take position on this mid camp, and we know that we cannot fight weaken at level 1 on that Thor. It's just too strong with that passive. 15 physical power for every god you're near.
Yeah, I mean, it's not good to lose both of those mid camps as they go the way of Snipe Gaming, but it's good once you know that you're going to lose them to actually just commit to the loss. There's really nothing you can do right there, and as we watch middle laners trade basics. Very aggressive middle lane.
In the left-hand lane, lots of aggression coming out from Rectangle. Some of it punished, some of it not. Recon's going to roll forward. He gets good damage onto Incon, but the support with Watcher's Gift isn't going to take too much. Nice invade from Weaken on the right-hand side is going to be very important. Now the question is, can the solo duo here from Nintendo and Ban OP Gods punish Kiki enough for this? And honestly, it doesn't look like it. Kiki being ahead from the mid-camp start and now from the extra solo experience is going to be a big force throughout this game. Weaken is waiting for a gank.
Try Hard Die Hard sniffed it out and is going to play accordingly. You know, that's something that the solo lane communicates to his teammates. Hey, the jungler is left a while ago. We don't really know where he went. So Try Hard Die Hard going to check the jungle. It's exactly what he does and spots out Weekend. So no gank right there. The best and Weekend going to rotate over onto this left-hand side. The best is going to head back to lane.
Right, so that's a half rotation coming out from Best, and that's a really important high-level strategy. Basically, when you clear the lane ahead of your opponent, you can either sit in lane and try and pressure them, maybe get something done there. Hold that thought, though. Engage coming out from Weekend here. He's just going to go directly in the Berserker Barrage. Will not get the speed buff, but will be a nice amount of damage, and even First Blood onto Dusty Rainbow in favor of Snipe Gaming. Kill goes to Weekend. Great invade.
Hey, you know, Weekend's been really a good addition to this Snipe team, still aggressing, but there's 4 members of Red right here. Well, Rekt is a little spread out, so they're not going to take this fight. Weekend had his first Snipe debut at the actual LAN, I would say. That was his first competitive experience with the team. Played lights out, didn't take home the victory, but definitely played very well. Was one of the shining stars of that team, and right now, picking up First Blood, barely 2 minutes into it, still playing at such a high level. Have to say, definitely filling Shing's shoes rather well.
Yeah, they are. But that said, you know, I want to give props to Rectangle here. They're doing a really good job of dealing with what Snipe is throwing at them. They're showing up for the fights. They're not really giving too much up for free, aside from the safe gold camp on the right-hand side that Weekend was able to jungle out at level 1, or at level 2. And that really is a big indicator of what this team can bring to the table in the Challengers Cup. That said, they did lose that early fight. Dusty Rainbow went down, and I want to say that's a little bit more of a picks and bans thing than it is a team strategy thing. In that Snipe was like, all right, we've set up our roster to be really good at this point in the game, and we're going to take advantage of that. And that's probably not the sort of thing that Rectangle really knows how to handle just yet. But Incon could be caught out. Looks like the aggression was aimed for the best, but with the Sentinel, Zoe's just going to pull Scylla right out of danger.
Able to go over walls, or under walls rather, and Best is able to reposition at a moment's notice. Able to clear this and getting a lot of help. Thor and Incon have really been showing up in this middle lane a lot, so Scylla's early clear problems not really an issue when you can share the lane with your teammates, and that's exactly what's going on, and it's just team play in general that's letting this Scylla play go unpunished.
Yeah, definitely. So Scylla is making use of the rotations from her teammate to supplement that early clear. Typically, Agni would have control of this lane, but it hasn't happened. Gank attempt on the right-hand side. Weekend not going to have the range needed for his ultimate to connect onto Nintendo. Also, Nintendo with that speed buff probably helped him reposition a fair amount. Said, it was either an audio cue or those sort of gank senses that kept Nintendo alive.
Yes. It was
hold on.
gank senses. And speaking of gank senses, we see Roth thinking about doing something over here in the right-hand lane, but
yeah,
Kiki's going to play it safe and instead walk away. Use the ult, I think. But
no. He used it in lane, I think.
Okay.
Use it to clear. But, you know, gank senses. Like, when you get that feeling in your gut, you're like, oh man, I'm about to get ganked here. Gank senses. Yeah. It's totally, it is actually something that players do develop as they play.
Yeah, it's a thing. To be fair, there's a lot of feel going on as Ban OP Gods is feeling on Weekend, but there's a lot of feel. Essentially, players get used to certain timings, certain periods of portions of the gameplay. Let's try how Die Hard spots out Weekend, trying to get a gank on. Sort of like we were talking about with the Agni early game. Weekend left the lane, Solon communicated it. They guessed that he took safe, and then he was coming to mid. That sort of idea. Walled out is the middle lane. Good. Berserker's barrage. Agni's going to dash out, and Dusty Rainbow going to ox his way to safety. Good knockup coming out from the support right there. That's going to make 2 level 7s safely under their tower.
Yeah, but that's going to be an obvious recall, which means now Snipe can really get something done. Weekend's going to show up immediately in the solo lane. Doesn't find the wall. Honestly, I really would have liked to see a gold fury. The reason they didn't is probably recon. That Rom, if he can get his eyes on the gold fury, his ultimate is really good at stopping any attempts at this point in the game.
Yeah, no Hog 3 just yet. So that actually could be secured by a good ultimate coming out from Rom. Pressure in the long hand lane. Rom backflips out. Safe again.
Looks like Snipe is considering the speed invade, but instead, they're just gonna sort of wait around and see if anyone shows up. No one will, so double hog, take the speed buff, walk away, and now Rectangle, that was an interesting play from Snipe. They gave up right mid camp to invade speed, and then either fight or take left mid camp. So great positioning, great calling, and now it's gonna be a two-man engage from Incon. He's just gonna force out some abilities here, and that was a poke trade. Nintendo, though, could be caught out. Nice special delivery, able to get into the jungle and get out safely. Allied makes the half rotation, but realizes he doesn't need to go anywhere.
So much attention paid to this middle lane by Snipe, and forcing the hand of Rectangle into being just as intrigued by it. Kiki and the Soul Lane, on the other hand, playing extremely aggressive, just sitting on the front lawn of
Sonic Boom.
God.
Mid lane, Best is in a lot of trouble. Sentinel's on cooldown as he used it to go aggressive, but nice damage coming out from Incon here. I'm a monster, finds one! Finds the hit onto two. Huge damage. No kill just yet. Weaken out of mana. Dusty Rainbow hits the ground. Rommel coming through. The third hit will not connect. Snipe from Kiki looks for the kill, but it's Allied coming down from the sky. Doolies gets the headshot. Finds Dusty Rainbow. A great amount of gold picked up for Snipe Gaming.
Excellent individual play coming out right there, coming out from Snipe, and a good rotation from Allied to finish it up and put a bow on it. That's going to give them a significant lead, 2,000 gold at just underneath the 8-minute mark. Rectangle is going to respond after that incredible fight by trying to force a gold clear. He's already 50% down.
Yeah, they're going to get it.
They're going to go ahead and pick this up. Snipe has no idea with no vision in the area. And with that Gold Fury going down, that's going to all but tie up the game. 800 gold lead for Snipe, bringing it down by 1,200. Not enough to call it a lead, folks. Fantastic objective play and good heads-up thinking by Rectangle Gaming.
It says Snipe Gaming does have a substantial amount of experience. You're right, I wouldn't call it a lead, but I'd say that they're ahead and they're still in control of the game. They're still the team making the calls, but they went in with a really good fight, and then they backed, and they showed that they were backing. They showed that they didn't have presence, and great shot calling from Rectangle to take advantage of that. This is exactly what I want to see from a Challenger Series. Well, I want to see them beat Snipe. That would be a great omen for the Challenger Series. But they're looking pretty good so far, honestly. I mean, you don't see a team 0-3 at the 9-minute mark look as good as Rectangle does right now too often.
Yeah, it's just the calls and the understanding of how to play from behind, which is honestly something that we talked before about how closing was one of the larger humps for teams to overcome to really make it to that next level.
Oh, hold on a second. Try hard. Gets caught out there, forces to use beads. Great response time there. Wants this red buff, not going to get it. Dusty Rainbow onto the Best. Big damage coming out, but Thor's up in the air. Best is very, very low. Uses the Sentinel. Now Try Hard, Die Hard accepts the link, but Sonic Boom takes down the Best. Could be in trouble. He needs to be chain interrupted here. Uses beads, but will just barely be able to teleport away. Dusty Rainbow finds the kill with the Cougar form. Now Incon's in a lot of trouble, but Allied comes down from the sky. That's one headshot. Looking for another one. Ban OP Gods is getting low. Allied dashes in. Doesn't quite find the auto, but Kiki takes him out with the snipe. Now Dusty Rainbow, the sole remaining member of his team, gonna go to that Ox form. Or sole remaining member of his team in the fight. Goes for the Ox form. Doesn't quite get out. Allied through the wall. Gets the kill. Rom didn't rotate, made the decision not to, knew he couldn't get there in time, tried to just get as much lane pressure as possible. That said, that was... Actually, you know what? I think that might have been in favor of... No, it's in favor of Snipe. They got slightly more experience off that. 300 experience and maybe 100 gold from that.
And that wound up being a good fight, and as you said, Rom tried to push the lane, but wasn't able, with no vision in his jungle, wasn't able to really do that safely. Nobody really came over the left-hand side to push him out of lane fast enough for him to leave that early, but without having any safe vision, he absolutely had to, just in case. There was no way for him to know if they were coming or not. Everyone was dead, so he had to back early, and basically that decision made his original decision to not leave lane not the greatest.
Yeah, definitely. And so now Rectangle, they're still behind. Their lead's a little bit bigger than it was before, or their deficit's a little bigger than it was before. Nintendo in a lot of trouble in the middle lane. That crush is going to annihilate him. Great combo from Incon. It's a dash forward from Tryhard Diehard. He's going to be stunned out, but the Cougar form is perfectly timed. And Dusty Rainbow is doing so much. Weekend taken down, and this Sun Wukong play is outrageous. The Rom Snipe finds the third hit. Best is in a lot of trouble. Will be forced to Sentinel away. He'll be okay for now, but will be backing off, and that could be the mid tower.
A lot of pressure coming out from Rectangle. Incon, the only member here of his team, not really able to provide much, but blue team's going to respect it. Dusty Rainbow very low, and Allied is pushing this tower, so they have to decide what they want to commit to. Allied is playing that Apollo with the global ultimate, so he can be here pretty much as long as he wants, but he will take the fight. Good mez coming out. He's going to land a lot of basics, but miss a couple. And Recon's going to make it with about 40% HP under his tower. Allied should be able to take this fight, but Nintendo is going to try to make something happen.
Yeah, Allied sees Nintendo coming on the ward, and he is just going to give it proper respect. I do want to mention the reason that mid tower didn't fall. Best made use of Crush from Scylla. He dropped it, walked away, waited for creeps to walk into the Crush, pressed 2, cleared the wave, and that intelligent and safe play kept that mid tower alive because it cleared the wave, and Rectangle wasn't in a position to tank the tower, but with the wave they probably would have dropped it to half, if not more. And this made Allied's lack of rotation and instead split push really pay off.
About half damage on that tower. Red team trying to make something happen here in defense of the blue team's grouping up. You have the jungle, support, and middle laner here in the mid lane. Snipe's going to go ahead and pick up their red buff and just sort of force a disbursement out of this middle lane coming out from Rectangle, so not much anybody can really get going. Warding coming down onto the objectives, and Kiki going to silently clear his first tier tower. So Kiki definitely objectively winning this game, at least in the right-hand lane.
Now, I do want to mention the way Weekend is playing this game. He's currently level 11. Just hit it before he was level 10 and a level behind his support. Because, honestly, he's kind of playing support Thor. I mean, he's building aggressively, he's got the Titan's name, but he's about the setup. Now, Thor up in the air, where's he going to land? Not really going to find the connection he wants. Best in the middle lane's in a lot of trouble. Very, very low now, just below 100 health. Sonic Boom doesn't connect somehow. Great hit onto Nintendo before he gets taken down by the special delivery. Weekend's going to teleport through the wall, finds the kill. Good play there, and making a 1-for-1. But Dusty Rainbow, in a bit of trouble, uses that Ox Form to get out and interrupt. The Snipe will not connect. Bano God's coming in, and Weekend needs to back out. Dusty Rainbow is going to be in a lot of trouble as Allied comes down from the sky. Now Tryhard Diehard running for his life. Great use of the ultimate from Aphrodite, but the jump from Incon is going to make that not an option. And Recon just watches as Allied gets the Tripski.
Allied is going insane. Picking up the hat trick right at the 14.5-minute mark. It's Allied playing absolutely lights out. That's going to bring his slash line up to 6 kills with 2 assists. Rom going to basically just help kill this Gold Fury for Snipe. Not really anything he could do there. Neither characters nor Gold Fury were low enough. And Rectangle Gaming all of a sudden has pressure everywhere. Gold Fury down. Mid tower about to be down by minions. Right-hand lane already first tier tower is down as well. So Snipe Gaming really running all aspects of this game. 15 minutes in, folks. 5,000 gold in the lead of Snipe. Also leading by 7 kills.
Yeah, and honestly, this just kind of feels like a ranked horror story for Recon in that Hunter role, where you're just chilling in lane playing Rom, doing decently. I mean, Recon's had some good hits. Hasn't really died at all. Could participate a little more, but Apollo rotates out of lane and comes back 6-0-2. Hunters having 8 out of 11 kill participation at the 15-minute mark is absolutely insane. Allied is playing lights out. I don't know what Shell cooked him for breakfast, but it definitely helped out. Now, Incon's in a bit of trouble, or he would be if he wasn't baiting out this fight. The dashes have been used, and Tryhard Diehard is going to be in a lot. No, it's going to actually be a Peel ultimate coming out from Weekend. Takes down Nintendo. Now Dusty Rainbow comboed in. Take it down before I can get up in the air. Weekend finds the double. Finally taking on a bit of a carry roll with this Thor. And now, with that Fist of the Gods, interrupts the back off in the cast. Great ultimate, but Ban OP Gods is probably still going to go down.
At the same time as that fight was going on, we see Weekend taking poke from Tryhard Diehard. Allied completely pushed Recon out of lane. He's going to go ahead and aggress onto this tower. He's going to go ahead and take it as well. So more objectives down for Snipe Gaming. Allied just really running this ship.
Yeah, and this is unfortunately one of those situations where, like, part of Apollo's split push is balanced by the fact that you can probably 1v1 him. Tryhard Diehard is in a lot of trouble in the middle lane. Incon's not going to find the jump, and that's actually a big Sonic Boom interrupting. Incon will go down here, already using his belly flop under tower. The rest of Snipe has to back out, but here comes Allied down into 3. That was a Zapman play. And now it looks like he's baited out a fight. He's in the heel. Bess is unleashing the damage, but Rom's up in the air just in time to stay alive. Allied's still in the front. Doesn't want to completely take it. Weekend's rotating over. Does have the ultimate available. Best is going to go in, and this is bait. He gives his life, but will it be a big enough play? The Thoro will not connect. Recon is going to be given the Undying Love, and Allied finally gets very low. The snipe from Kiki doesn't find the hit it needed to. Allied falls. That's a 2-on-2. Ban OP Gods taken down with the Thor combo. Insane, incredible, very long fight.
Allied diving down into the middle of 5. Definitely an aggressive play. That sort of thing that happens, folks, when you're 6-0-3. He did go ahead and pick up a 7th kill before he died. So Allied, like we said, running the ship very well. He's captaining this one, if you will, but goes down to an aggressive play. As you said, Bates had a decent fight, but I think it's time for Snipe Gaming to start looking at the larger objectives. Take these fights and start heading towards the Fire Giant. Fight on the right side of the map. And I think we might see something.
Nintendo in the middle lane's in a lot of trouble. No.
Yeah, that stun's going to help him out, and Weekend's going to get the last hit. That's a dead Mercury. He's out for about 35 seconds.
I like the decision from Snipe there. Instead of just using Intoxicate and closing the kill, they use Fist of the Gods, ensuring that Thor can get the kill and keeping Intoxicate up for the next fight. And it seems that they have decided that the Fist of the Gods is the same cooldown, but significantly less value, which is probably true. That said, it's going to be a really tough time in the long lane for Recon now, because while Apollo is balanced by the fact that he's probably not as good of a duelist as some of the other ADCs, when you're this far ahead, he is a good duelist. There's the Intoxicate in the right-hand lane. Kiki does have his Snipe available, but he really needs a bit more lockdown if he wants to get a good hit from it. Big rotation out from Recon. Snipe comes through. Will hit on the Aphrodite, forcing her back, but Kiki's in a lot of trouble. Thor's up. Thor comes down. Finds the peel, not quite enough as Tryhard Diehard comes in. And now Weekend taken down by the Snipe. Sonic Boom coming in. Best is in trouble. Special Delivery finds its mark. Not interrupted in time. Sentinel comes through, but Recon dashes forward. And Best goes into the monster. Last-ditch effort, but he's taken down by a crit. And then a hit from the ADC. And now it's all up to Allied, the savior. Not going to go in. Now he will.
Coming around the back end, Allied lands, gets the knock up on just 2, so the rest of the team is here to hit him. Dashes directly into the flames, and he's gonna die. Another over-aggressive move coming out from Snipe's Hunter. 5 members of Rectangle Gaming gonna push on this lane. They're gonna go ahead and pick up this tier 1 tower, and 4 members of Snipe dead. That's definitely a fight going the way of Rectangle Gaming. But with Kiki and Weeking spawning very soon, the most Rectangle can really get out of this is this tower. Really, Fire Giant.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, they can't really do the FG, so they're just going to go for what they can get, but Thor's up. This could be turned around rather quickly if Weekend finds the good hit. Kiki gets a snipe on Nintendo. Great stun! Dusty Rainbow's interrupted. He's going to get taken down as well. And that's the cleanup that Snipe needed. Potentially even giving them an opportunity at the Fire Giant. Incon did return to base. Allied is respawning soon. It's going to be another 30 seconds before Rectangle can get their people back alive.
This should just be a Fire Giant immediately for Snipe Gaming. You take a look at Rectangle and you look at their actives, and there's a single Hog 3, and it's down for 20 seconds. Snipe Gaming, as long as they don't get wiped here, have a free Fire Giant. Try Hard, Die Hard gonna make that happen, or at least try to by coming in. 3 members surrounding, and Kiki absolutely annihilated instantaneously. Intoxication coming out from Incon. That's gonna lower everybody's health, while Rom goes up in the air trying to end Weaken's life. Allied's gonna dash to the back with that ult, misses Recon, but he's gonna chase him out of the fight. Almost good enough. Red team still trying to play interference here. Trying to figure out what their next move should be. They pushed out blue a decent amount, Kret, but I don't think they're confident enough to hit the Fire Giant.
Yeah, they really can't go for it. First of all, Dusty Rainbow has been playing really well in that Thunder Kong. Great job combining and sort of dancing between disruption, control, and killing, really. He is sitting 1-7-8, so a lot of deaths and really been taken out. His player damage is very respectable, actually having more than his jungle Mercury. Nintendo not really able to do much more than ult in and set up for his team. Both of the junglers taking a bit more of a support role, but Weekend's able to clean up those kills and stay alive. Mercury is just having a really rough time.
Dusty Rainbow trying to get some vision onto the Fire Giant. Gonna get pushed out a little bit, but nothing too consequential right there as far as damage is concerned. Nothing gonna move on to the next fight, that's for sure. Snipe looking very aggressive. Bounce up from Incon is gonna go on a 3, but no follow-up from Snipe just a couple of yards away. Not really able to close the distance between that. And Snipe Gaming is going to retreat a little bit. Looks like they want to goad something, but instead, going to opt for the Gold Fury.
Yeah, Allied can tank this one nice and easy. He's going to be having his rage done soon, too, which is really, really important. Gold Fury goes to Snipe. Looking at the gold value, Allied can finish rage. He could finish Deathbringer if he wanted that one, too. Recon, slightly behind, but not doing too poorly. Dusty Rainbow in a lot of trouble. We'll be able to get up in the air. Only barely. And, yeah, he's going to be able to back out. He's going to be okay. Sun Wukong Ultimate used at no real cost.
Both teams looking for an opportunity. No real openings, though. As we mentioned before, Kret, you know, Gold Fury did go down to Snipe a little while ago, bringing them up to 5,700. But as we were talking earlier, Kret, Rectangle hasn't really been giving Snipe too much.
Kiki's in a bit of trouble here. Is going to use his Heavenly Agility and is doing a good job of juking. Now needs to turn and fight, but he takes a big crit from Mercury. Now Nintendo getting turned on, taken down by Allied. Tryhard Diehard finds Kiki with a bomb. Deadly Rainbow cannot tank Allied at all. Taken down, absolutely destroyed even. And that's just sort of... Dusky Rainbow is even farming kind of well. He just isn't able to stay alive at all. Allied's in the air. He's going to come down on the Fire Giant. They're going to try this again.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we were talking about earlier. The jungler for Rectangle Gaming started without a Hog. So there is no Hog 3 other than support. Weekend's going to land in the back line. Stop Rom from really doing anything. Recon taking a lot of damage, but one good crit is going to send Weekend the opposite direction. Does have Fire Giant. It's fallen already, and not a single ult. One hit will come from Recon, and one more basic would take him out of the fight. So he's going to leave while the rest of Snipe Gaming chases into the right-hand lane. And Rectangle Gaming forced to retreat while Allied leads the charge on a mid-tower. This is going to be a mid-tower, and we're going to see a Phoenix push most likely come out of Snipe Gaming.
Yeah, Snipe Gaming with the sustain from Ra, who just respawned, and they're going to go back and spend some gold, get some items to, you know, help them take towers. I love seeing both Obsidian shards up. Those help a lot from the mage autos, which are actually going to hit fairly hard. Taking a quick look at best stats, 390 magic power on this Scylla. Honestly, I want to say that's going to be autoing Phoenixes for about 100, which is not bad. You've got Allied doing a lot of damage there. Weaken with the Titan's Bane will destroy Phoenixes as well. And with the sustain from Ra, they can keep doing it. On top of Fire Giant, it's going to be really hard to get Snipe off of these objectives and stop their siege unless Rectangle can find a hard engage and just wipe Snipe out.
Yeah, that's what they're going to have to do, and I definitely think they're capable of it. This lead at 6,300 is not astronomical. You know, you take a look at the items, and the items look rather similar. The major difference being vision and actives, a lot of finished actives. Going the way of both teams, Snipe has a slight lead. Now, no crits coming out from Mercury, so that's going to be the auto tower. Teams really don't want to defend that tower too hard. It's all about the Phoenix, and right now, here's the engage you were talking about. There's the bounce and the double snipe coming out from Ra. Thor's in the air looking for something while Incon's in the front lines. Allied lands on nobody while Recon takes out the mage. Weekend is 12 leagues too deep and nobody left on the Phoenix. This is a bad fight for Snipe at the moment. 5 alive for Blue, 2 alive. 2 dead for Snipe, and that's going to be a retreat coming out from Snipe. Recon caught out. Might turn around, but this could be iffy.
With Aphrodite, he does have some sustain. Here comes Tryhard Diehard. And it looks like Snipe's just going to back off. So what happened there? Snipe landed a really good combo. It was Thorwall. Confirms a 2-man belly flop. Snipe comes through from Kiki. With the Searing Pain, not Snipe the team. But Aphrodite's Undying Love immunes the carry caught in the combo, saves his life. I believe it was Agni, and as a result, Snipe Gaming just kind of used their burst, used their combo in the team fight. Rectangle was like, alright, you didn't get anything from it. Let's fight, let's go. We can take this, and Best just got dove. He couldn't find a way to stay alive in that engagement. Recon coming at him with the sprint, and the turn onto Recon wasn't sufficient to find a kill there either. It feels like Snipe is having a bit of a tough time confirming their damage. What they can confirm is immune by Aphrodite, and everything else is just kind of avoided.
I also feel like the Snipe team has plateaued. They're giving Rectangle, I don't want to say too much respect, because Rectangle has definitely earned a decent amount of it, but
yeah,
they're being very cautious when they're attacking, and right now, Allied and Incon, the opposite of cautious, pushed up, getting pincered by the enemy team. Good stun on the back, Hunter by the Sun Wukong, and a lot of damage coming out. The Best is going to take out 2 people. That's a triple kill going his way. That's a quadra. Could we see the 5th? Still in the monster form, not enough to get the 5th, but that is the power of Scylla. That is the power of the Best.
Penta!
It's gonna be the pentakill, going the way of the Best. New team, new plays, no one alive. 5 people on this Phoenix. They're gonna move on to the Titan, and Snipe Gaming, in an incredible highlight play, will move on to the next round of this tournament.
They're going to take the win and move on. Snipe Gaming with the Best, playing as a tryout, I believe, is the way to put it. And he just played lights out. You know, we just said it right before that fight broke out. And I feel like Best heard. He was like, all right, you know what? You're right. We're having a little bit of trouble closing this out. We're having trouble in these fights. Let me just get a penta and end the game. That'll do it. And honestly, up until that point, and this is the scary thing about Best Scylla, is he was getting pressured. Rectangle was doing all the right thing. They were forcing Best out of the fight. They were stopping him from doing a high amount of damage. They were keeping him under control until one engagement, just one fight where he was able to actually do his job and get his damage off, and he gets a pentakill. Now, think about how much damage a monster does. Do you want to just wager a guess?
Maybe 1,100 per hit.
1,100 per hit, and he got a penta using 4 hits of it. So he probably got 5,000 out of his 16,000 player damage in that last fight, which meant that Best was probably lowest damage for his team, most deaths, and his GPM was actually pretty good. And that's actually expected. That's how Scylla should be when your opponents are playing well. You put pressure on her, you kill her regardless of her ability to reposition. But one fight, one play with perfect precision, perfect engage, perfect follow-up, and perfect control from the team, and the game just ends. That is exactly what makes Scylla so strong, still strong despite the nerfs.
Yeah, I mean, that's also credit to Best, the player. Yeah. That's sort of Best's thing. You know, you mentioned all these bad negative stats, and then you come to the GPM and you say, but the gold per minute is still good, almost 500, and that is who the best is. You can keep him down, you can shut him down, but he will stay relevant by knowing how to farm. And all you need when you're a mage player is one big opportunity, and an outlandish pentakill coming out from Best really, literally changed the entire course of the game. We came into this game saying Best has a lot to prove, Rectangle Gaming have a lot to prove. I think they both did their fair share of proving, and we're going to move on to the quarterfinals or the semifinals and see what else everybody else can prove. Enjoy the Penta. We'll be back with your next match in just a couple of minutes.